Hi, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 18th, 2021. This is the November public meeting of ANC 5D Zoning and Development Committee. Um, um, we should be a relatively quiet night tonight. There's only 3 upcoming BZA and Zoning Commission cases in the next few months, and one of them ANC has already submitted a letter, so I don't think we need to discuss that. Gallaudet has submitted a campus plan amendment. That's a new zoning commission case, ZC 12-15C, but they've yet, no hearing has even been scheduled for that yet. But if anyone is interested in, they can go to the BZA website and search for upcoming cases for 5D. You put 5D into the search window and you'll see that pop up. And they just added some very detailed plans just yesterday. There is another BZA case, 20580. I haven't dug into that yet. They have a hearing scheduled for January 26th. And I think the BZA case we'll discuss this evening is BZA case 20573, and they have a hearing scheduled for the middle of next month, Wednesday, December 15th. And that is an application by AT&T to erect a cell phone tower adjacent to Spring Arm High School. And that case has received significant community interest. I know they presented at the October ANC meeting. Commissioner Moore, I wasn't at the November ANC meeting. Did they present this last week as well?
So they did not present. I wouldn't call it a presentation. What I would say is we just kind of reviewed the fact that we were still awaiting feedback from the school, in regards to making sure that the school was notified, of the potential addition, and whether they had worked out any agreements with the school in terms of access or maintenance, or any planning around the facility with the school officials.
Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully that allows the gallery view as well. That way I can just give a quick introduction here. I'm doing is share my desktop. Okay, you all seeing my desktop here?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, gotcha. So what I want to just do is first of all, let me close out some of these. Oh, that was actually the exact case record I wanted. But that's okay. I'll just go to BZA case 202573. There's the case record. Go to full log, and there are now 38 case exhibits, and there's a letter from FirstNet to ANC 5D. I haven't had a chance to read that. Commissioner Moore, have you seen this?
Can you scroll back up?
Sure.
Let's see. What is this?
Yeah, if you click, and the email I sent out, you're on the group. If you click on this, it should bring up the case record. And in the full log, that brings this up. And there is an email, a letter from FirstNet to ANC 5D. Oh, and it's a letter to Commissioners Blacknell and Moore. So I will let you read. I don't think.
Okay.
I will let you read that
I've
offline.
not seen this letter, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, they just submitted it yesterday, so that's why I wouldn't expect it. What I wanted to do is bring up a map. Just to kind of give some context to those at home, what the proposal is. Let me turn on the satellite layer. 3D. So actually zooming out a little bit here, we've got Carver Langston, we've got Benning Road along the south border here. And this is the Spring Arm School here, which is on the National Historic Registry. Well, the names are, they're giving the new modern names for the, and AT&T's proposal, it's hard to see in this 3D map, but there are some very tall, I think they're 80-foot tall. Andrew, correct me if I got the heights wrong, but the existing, there are some light towers around this field. And what AT&T is proposing on doing is turning one of these towers into a cell phone tower. And I believe that's the one right there. So I think the height will increase slightly. So this tower, which kind of already looks like a cell phone tower, I think they were going to increase the height slightly, and they were going to continue to have lights on it, but they were going to add some section on top for lighting.
Yeah, I think technically they're removing this light pole and adding a new one that's taller.
Yeah, and I think I had a copy of the plans.
I don't know the exact height comparison between the two.
I think it's like I mean, it's not a significant difference, I think.
Yeah, and this is these plans on my screen right now. Are you still seeing my desktop?
Yes.
Yep.
These are Exhibit 3 in the case record. So I think usually they're required to show yeah, so this is the existing. The existing stadium lights go up to 81 feet, and the new will be 89 feet. So 8 feet taller. Looks like AT&T, obviously, they're going to give themselves the height, the tall part of the pole. Lights will be reinstalled, and there are, I think when they install these cell phone masts, there's requirements that they have to do sharing with other carriers. So, so that's the general plan. And I know I have not, Mike, personally gone through it's to look at. I know that there are some letters already in the case record opposing the project. I haven't read those letters. If Commissioner Blacknell, I think you have submitted a letter. Have you figured out your audio? Do you have some concerns you would like to speak about? Or if you'd like to put it in the chat log. There's also a dial-in, by the way, that might be easier if the computer is not working.
Yeah. And I don't have a new text message.
So, I mean, this is kind of an unusual, normally the zoning committee, we do research on lot occupancy and people being concerned that their solar panels are being shaded or stuff like that. This is kind of a little out of the norm for the things we do research on. I don't think the zoning committee is going to, especially given the fact that there's not, the school is pretty far up away from here, and they're effectively just asking to have a slightly taller tower, although it is a cell phone tower. I mean, I think from a zoning and development committee standpoint and zoning regulations, I don't think there's anything to oppose. I don't think there's anything to support. It's, they're replacing one like structure with another.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is it? They need an exception because this is in a historic district or because it's on DC government property. Like, what is the exact request? What is the nature of the relief?
Yeah, actually, good point. Let me see, statement can use. Let me have a look at application form. No, I downloaded most of these case records already. So let me see what the actual, usually in the application form, they will ask, what is the relief? Relief from 1313.2. All right, what is 1313.2? Subsection 3. Let me bring up that ZR16. My these are just my local laptop. Yeah, these are often months old. But 1313, what is 1313.2? Oh, antenna towers. Okay.
Mhm.
As a special exception. So it sounds like you can never, you always need a BZA approval to install a monopole.
Yeah.
As a special exception in RF, RA, MU, and PDR.
Yeah.
Except PDR were antenna towers. So it looks like PDRs, which is production, distribution, and repair zones, are matter of right. And I'm guessing there are some other zones in the city that they're also matter of right, but they can build this with a special exception.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I can go back here. Let me just check, let me check out the zone. What is the zoning for this neighborhood? That specific lot.
RA2, I think.
Is it? It's actually, it's on this side of the street, so it's going to be a PAR. What is that again?
I think it's further north
Let's have a look. You're
because
correct.
it's up on the north side
It's
of the track.
RA2. Yep, you're right.
Mhm.
It's, you know, it's an RA2. So, Commissioner Moore, do you have, I know they presented at the October ANC meeting, and I think
Mhm.
they're on the docket for the December meeting.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the ANC for support.
Yes. That's the plan.
As no, I know this is in Commissioner Blacknell's ANC. Commissioner Blacknell, have you figured out the audio stuff, or have you dialed in? I don't think she has.
Or if you just want to talk on the phone, I'll put you on speaker if you just call me.
I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Yeah, I do want to. I do want to hear Commissioner Blacknell's.
Okay. Here we go.
I did not like the
Okay.
automated transcript that just popped up there.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I do
Hi, Commissioner
apologize
Blacknell.
for the technical problems, but the developers had a meeting with Kenwood Park Civic Association and everything, and stand for Spingarn and Spingarn alumni. And they requested that they find another place to put it. Okay, they also specified that they talked to all the principals at the school, which they did not, because the principal at Brown said that she's against it. They sent her a 5-page PowerPoint. That's what they sent her. I'm trying to get a hold of the principals at Two Rivers and Phelps to see what their perspective is of it. But as far as I know, Brown principal is against it and the teachers are against it. Kingman Park Civic Association is against it. Stanford Spingarn is against it. And the original alumni of Spingarn, they are against it. And they requested that they find another spot.
Here's my question, more than that they are against it, what is the rationale they gave for being against it?
I guess because, you know, they still use that field and everything. And they feel that, you know, I hate to say, they say, you know, the Department of General Service just putting everything over here in Ward 5. You know, and it came up about the radiation, and they're saying it is no radiation. And frankly, it is radiation. You got radiation in your cell phone. You got radiation in your microwave. You know, and they feel that it's unsafe for the kids. You got the elementary school kids that's going to be going over there playing on the field and everything. You know, just find some place to put it there, somewhere else to put it. Now, I don't know who suggested, but it was suggested that they put it on the other side of the field.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, they're not fulfilling our requests there. You know, we asked them to give us feedback from the schools. They have not done that yet. They sent me an email saying that they're going to print up more information to give to the school, to give to the parents. All of this should have been done. That's why I said they're just dumping everything over here in Ward 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, but there's times when sometimes people feel that other communities get investments, and this could, I think it seems some people are clearly viewing this as a negative. It could be some people view this as a positive if cell phone reception is going to improve in the community. You know, I know there are concerns about the power, but unless there's a huge national conspiracy, I think that it probably is, you know, it's safe. And I believe there's cell phone masts and towers on even a lot of the tall buildings throughout the city. I think there's cell phone towers on top of Delta Towers.
Can I make a point, Kevin? We as a body cannot legitimize the misinformation about the unsafe nature of cell phone tower radiation, which has been clinically proven to not be harmful. And to have us in any way, shape, or form accept the opposition with that rationale would be an egregious misuse of our ability in, you know, speaking for the community. I am all for getting the consent of the schools in this situation because absolutely they should be informed on, you know, what's happening. But we cannot legitimize people saying things that are simply just not true about the efficacy or the safety of the tower. Like that cannot be allowed to happen.
Okay, Commissioner Blacknell, have we lost you?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still in.
Do you want me to leave? That's Commissioner Hoffman was the last person to speak.
Okay, that was Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Well, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm against it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I don't see a reason to be against it other than that we need to have feedback from the school on how the facility would be maintained and whether there's some kind of easement or other legal agreement needed between the school and AT&T. That's the question. I think all of this business about the fact that we're having conversation about the principals is concerning. But I think all of this information, if their opposition is based on you can't trust 5G, then that is an internet conspiracy theory that's just not borne out by the facts. And so I'm curious only about the aspect of this where we're trying to figure out, who is doing the maintenance? Is it AT&T? Is it DGS?
Yes, yeah, I do agree with that.
That's the question.
Commissioner Moore, yes, I do agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I do. We need to get more clarification, and I'm not going to vote on something that's I don't have no clarification on.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, then,
and you know why I'm saying this?
mm-hmm.
Because of them swing schools and everything, the way that happened.
Yeah,
I
do know that.
Yeah, so that lets me know that the Department of General Services is going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. They did mishandle that. So here's my suggestion here's what I'm going to do. Not even a suggestion. Here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to send an email to this Ryan Triller, who is the current representative, and I believe his boss was on the line as well in the November meeting. And I'm going to include her. And basically, I'm just going to lay out for them that the primary concern at this point is, is there an easement agreement or whatever type of agreement it needs to be in terms of how the structure would be maintained over time. And that's, at this point, I'd like to see also evidence that they served the principals, which I didn't see when I looked.
I didn't see it either.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Cut you off. I ain't seen it. I haven't seen it yet neither.
Yeah, so I didn't see it the last time I looked. I'll look through it again tonight and see if I can see that, but I did not see it prior to the November meeting.
Yes, the only thing I saw this morning was about the first net. That's the only thing I saw this morning.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think if we're all in agreement, then those will be the next steps. And then we'll see what the response is.
Yes,
I believe that.
I agree with you.
Okay. I believe that BZA hearing is on the 15th.
Yes.
And so it will be an overnight letter for us. If they can't get us by the 7th, December 7th, all of the things that we're requesting, then we'll go ahead and put on the agenda that we request that they postpone. But they should be able to get us all of that by the 7th, because this is the second or third month where we've had this same discussion.
Yes, and we discussed it in the October meeting. So it should have been done.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been done, because I asked them, send me an email of what the principals said at the school. And I haven't received that, and you also requested it. So I haven't got it, and you haven't got it.
Right. And I don't see it in the case file.
Commissioner Moore, could we also ask them to show us a map of all of the cell phone towers throughout the city, just to be sure that they're not just quote unquote dumping something into a neighborhood? I'd like to know that. Do they put cell phone towers in Ward 3, Ward 2, Ward 1, or is this just something where they're putting it here because they think they can, maybe it just makes geographic sense here, and there's some high ground, but it would be nice to see where in their response if they can show us where the existing towers are.
Well, actually, that's what I was looking up a few minutes ago. While we were having this conversation, is to see where are some of the other locations, and they do tend to be on hills. So Mount Hamilton, Hickory Hill, Round Hill, those are some of the locations. Camp Hill, and that's in Glover Park. I mean, it's wherever there's a hill pretty much. I'm trying to see what I can find in terms of
a hill or a tall structure such as a light pole on a light mast,
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, wouldn't it Could they put would there be an outrage if they decided to put a cell phone tower, a well-disguised one in the National Arboretum where the trees are? Like,
Yeah.
And,
That's a
and
very-
that's what somebody suggested at the Arboretum. Pepco has not the power plant on Benner Road, but the other power plant further down on Benner Road.
So I'm just
Okay.
gonna pause you guys. Mount Hamilton is in the Arboretum.
Oh, okay.
So that tower's already there, and that's pretty close to Bladensburg Road.
Mhm.
So was that in a list? I mean, you mentioned Mount Hamilton. Is
No,
that-
I was just looking at a map, cellmapper.net.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. But
Because
it occurred to me, we shouldn't be relying upon our research. We should make them put
Right.
in writing.
Yeah,
They
I
have
agree.
they probably know all kinds, and I guess in our request, we should specify not just monopoles, but every place in the city where they have, because sometimes they just put them on facades of tall buildings. So
Yeah,
it
a
would
pole
be-
and antenna.
it would be interesting because if maybe the cell phone tower is a really good benefit to Carver Langston, but
Yeah.
it's hard for us to get that into context without knowing where throughout the city they're putting these. And if it turns out that these are very common and all over the place, then that might alleviate people's concerns that they're unsafe if we see a map that shows that these towers are distributed wildly. We just need them to give us more information so the community can feel, that this is okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note here.
I mean, I personally, I feel it is going to be completely safe. I just think they need to do a little more groundwork to alleviate people's concerns.
Well, yeah, educate people, take it as an educational opportunity. Okay,
Yeah, and there are other places they can put it. There are other places in this area they can put it. Why select Springall Field? There are other vacant places where they can put it.
okay. So those are the things we want to ask for: school agreement, on, easement, or, whatever the legal apparatus would be, for maintenance in the long term, and a map of facilities, including antennas and full towers.
Should we recommend, I mean, assuming they get this information, I mean, do you think their BZA hearing is occurring too soon?
I think assuming that we get this information, I'm comfortable with the BZA hearing moving forward, because we have to remember we're not the only reviewers. And really our portion of the review process is about the community aspect of things. And so I think that that's where the majority of my concern would lie.
And the same for me, the same for me, because we've been asking for stuff. We've been asking for certain stuff since they came to the meeting in October, and I hate to say it, they're stalling. They are stalling.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it is not, I don't know what's happening that we can't get a school principal on the phone to say, or serve them a letter. We at least know where you work. So.
And I'm not going by word of mouth. I want to see a letter.
Yeah.
And that's what we requested, a letter, or, something in writing.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so I'll make that clear, and that our deadline at the latest is December 7th. That way we know for sure whether we got it or we didn't get it ahead of the meeting. And then we know what's the appropriate next step, whether it's to request a postponement, or to, move forward with a vote. So I think that gives us enough time.
You didn't get the letter about the safe net?
No, the letter that was in the case file. I saw it tonight when Kevin pulled it up, but I haven't received a copy of that letter yet.
Okay, do you want me to send you a copy of it, or you want to get it
Yes.
from Kevin?
No, go ahead and send me the copy of it.
Okay, I'll send you the copy of it.
All right, well, that's all I have, unless people have other suggestions about things that they need clarity on.
Could we, would you consider asking them to provide information by December 3rd? That's 2 weeks. Now, I know Thanksgiving week is next week, but that gives them 2 weeks. And then that gives you the weekend of the 4th and 5th to look at the response. I mean, I feel the 7th is almost, I take it back. The 7th gives you 1 week prior to the next ANC meeting. Okay, well, never mind. I didn't realize the calendar that gave you. I was worried they were giving you the information at the last second, but that gives you a week to review before the ANC public meeting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Are we gonna have the kid come in here the whole meeting,
yes,
Cardell?
yes, we'll still have the
Okay.
COW. Are you wanting it by the COW? Because that's tight. Let me see.
That's tight. That's tight.
Because the COW will be the
I go
30th.
with, yeah, that's gonna be kind of tight because that's Thanksgiving. Well,
Yeah.
I agree with Kevin with the 3rd. Put him to the 3rd.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. So that would be that Friday.
And if they really did what they said they did, it would be no problem with them getting the information.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm amenable to that. So I'll reach out to them. I'll CC you as the SMD commissioner, Commissioner Blacknell.
Yeah.
So that you're looped in on all those communications, and then we'll see what the response is by December 3rd.
Okay. I also send you, I don't know if you got a copy of the conversation that they had on the phone on the 16th.
No, I have not seen that yet.
Okay, I'll email you that because I was still at work.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's all I needed to know. And I think that's our only case, but Kevin, I'll turn the meeting back over to you.
No,
Since I've commandeered your meeting.
that's absolutely okay. No, it's 8:13. So I don't think there is another case coming up in January, but I think we can deal with that in December. And even then it's an appeal on something. And I need to review the case record to understand what it's about. So I won't put anyone through that unless anyone has any concerns that they want to bring up. There's there was by the way, a neighbor, Grace, who reached out to us last month, and she's having some issues with construction. I reached out to her. There's been some stop works. I think there's a project at 1614 Montello Ave Northeast. And there's just been not a positive experience. I think they didn't properly extend her chimney. They've caused some roof leaks. I believe there's a stop work going on right now. I sent her an email today to follow up, and I looped in Commissioner Salcida Guzman. So, but that's, we can take that offline.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. I think one of the things I do want to start considering is, how we can get some additional members, for the zoning committee. I'm going to continue to advertise for new members and ask the other commissioners to do the same. I'd like to, see some additional folks participating. And then see if we can work on some long-term projects too, community design standards and nuisance property lists. So that kind of brought that back to mind for me.
That would be nice. I would say
I
for a couple of years.
Hold on a second. Let's let Kevin finish, and then Commissioner Blacknell, I'll come back to you. Okay.
I was saying for a couple of years there, we didn't even have time to think about some of the long-term projects because we were just like fighting. It was like a lot of like very intense BZA cases where neighbors felt that they were really being mistreated and disrespected, and we had to put a lot of time in it. Things seem to have somewhat settled down right now. So I don't know, is that just because there's less development, or because the developers know that it's going to be more difficult to try to pull fast ones in 5D. But yeah, it would be nice. I think when we first stood up the committee, we actually had a list of long-term plans, and we, as you said, creating a news list, and we haven't really gotten stuck on any of those. It would be nice to restart those.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'll definitely put out some ads, and I think we'll just have kind of at-large seats and not just SMD specific, especially as we will see some redistricting. We'll have to within 5D. So we'll open up the floodgates and see who's willing to help. Okay, and then Commissioner Blacknell, since you're on my line, I don't want to mute you, but go ahead.
I have 2 residents that was on the zoning committee, but the excuse that they gave was, well, Commissioner Blacknell, you don't have no BZA cases in your area. I said, I may not have none right now, but I may have some coming up. And bam, I got some coming up. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to help other people in their area when it's your turn, Okay. All right. So that's all from me. I'm going to mute.
Okay.
I'll mute both of us.
Okay.
And, does anyone else online have any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to call into the November public meeting of the Zoning and Development Committee for ANC 5D. Thanks everybody for attending, and I will see you soon. Next meeting, as always, will be actually the 3rd Thursday. Let me check my calendar, actually. 3rd Thursday of December. When is that? That is December 16th. Okay, so it's still the week before Christmas. So thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, and be safe. Cheers.